Something I didn't fully appreciate at first is that kids need to be taught organization at a high level and at a very granular level. And even organized kids are going to have a steep learning curve when it comes to challenge. I found that if I sat down with each of my challenge kids on the first day of their week and helped them break down their assignments into daily portions, the week went so much more smoothly. Of course, an added problem of the challenge program is that unless your community day is Friday, the first day of the school week is not going to be Monday. And traditional planners that are laid out Monday through Friday were really confusing for my kids, especially those that were really visually oriented. So eventually I gave up on traditional planners and I created some of my own planners that end on other days of the week than Friday. If you're interested, I'll put links below so that you can check them out. Our community day was Monday, so I'll use the Monday planner as an example of how I helped my kids get organized. Since Tuesday was the first day of our new week, I'd sit down with each of my challenge kids for a full hour every Tuesday morning and plan for the upcoming week. First, we'd look at the monthly calendar and see if there was anything out of the ordinary that was happening for that week. Then we'd move to the weekly calendar and mark those events down so that we could work around them. Next, we'd get out the challenge guide and list the week's work here in the first column. Then we'd go strand by strand and divide the weekly work into daily portions. Lastly, we'd review the daily schedule that we'd set up, which included about 1 hour of study per strand. And then we'd set up a time to review that day's work later in the afternoon. Now, as I said, this weekly planning process took a full hour when my kids were new to it. And we would start the other days of the week with about a 10-minute session reviewing what the plan for that day was. Eventually, my kids were able to organize their weeks and their days themselves, but I recommend not rushing the process. So yes, I admit it, all of that takes a lot of time, but I have to tell you that a weekly planning hour and a daily check-in time each morning will give you a really good insight into what your kids are learning and how they're doing in challenge. I might also add that one of my kids recently came home from her first semester in college, and she told me how much all of that forced organization time in her challenge years has really helped her manage her time in college. So the payoff here is big. Hey, if you liked that video, I've got some great news for you. That was just an excerpt of a much longer video where we go all sorts of in depth with everything we just talked about. I'll link it up right there so you can go take a look at it. I'll see you there.